Well, I've had this car now for about a little over a month. I've been driving it off and on about a month, and I started out with turf tires on it, but I wanted to get cut down the rolling resistance and give it a better road feel. So I put these. It had 10-inch turf tires on it. I put these, I went to a salvage place or Walmart. You can buy these 12-inch spoked wheels. I only paid, I think, $50 a piece for them, and then I found these hubcaps. I got a complete set of them for like 12 bucks. And you can see here, I'll just move the car. See, I'm rolling the car with my hand. The rolling resistance on this car, I mean, probably, maybe 10 pounds of pressure will roll the car. This is a 2002 Gem. These cars now sell for about $7,400 before tax and transportation and everything. So you're talking over $8,000. So I've added the tires to it, and then if you look at it, it's on aluminum frame. It weighs about 1,000 pounds. The back, it's got a trailer type solid axle on the back, and then it's got coil over spring suspension. And if you look underneath here, you can see the bottom of the vehicle. It's a real robust frame. And then this fiberglass spat back here just covers the shocks and the frame to make it look nice. It's also got, this is a extra, you pay extra for this trunk. It fastens on to the back. You can see it just sets in two holes in the back here, and then you can take this handle here and turn it, and you take the whole trunk off and replace it with a golf cart bag holder. But you can see it's got a real nice trunk in it. I've got the door panels, side panels in here. Don't plan on using them much, but they're nice to have. And as you can see, it's got the brake lights and top lights, so that it's real visible from the rear of the car. So the car should be able to see you. And then it's got a license plate light and a backup light on the back. The seat's not adjustable. The seats are comfortable, but the seats are not adjustable. Basically, what you see there is what you got. It's I'm about 6 foot, and I'm just a slightly cramped in it. It's really made probably for somebody in the 5'6" or 5'8" height, but it's not bad. It's fairly comfortable. And then you have it's got regular automotive brakes on it. They actually took them off of, I think, an Italian car. It's got 6.3-inch drum brakes on it, and they work very well. It's also got the suspension on the front. It's an A-frame, standard new automobile A-frame. It's got coil over shock suspension on it, and then you can see inside it's got these short shafts going to the tires. Now if you open it up, you'll see two batteries up here, and I've got Walmart's EverStart batteries in them. They're a marine grade battery. They're 120 amp hour batteries. The unit comes with Trojan, or you can get Deca deep charge discharge batteries. They will last longer, but now these batteries here have roughly the same capacity. The Deca and Trojan batteries it comes with are either around 120, 130 amp hour at a 20-hour discharge rate. These are rated at 125 amp hour at a discharge rate of 20 20 hours. Now the amp hours on the Deca and the Trojan batteries, they said at actual use, like this thing has got a 5 horsepower engine on it, and at 5 horsepower it draws about 50 amps at 72 volts. These batteries, from best I can tell, have an actual amp hour rating of about 70 amp hours under a normal load on this car, and that's just about what the Deca and the Trojan batteries have. Now these are marine batteries, and they won't stand a deep cycle as much as your standard golf cart batteries. I think your standard golf cart batteries, they'll stand a 20% down to a 20% discharge, and probably for 600, 700, 800 cycles. Now the Walmart EverStart batteries probably are only half that, and you really, if you want to make their life reasonable, you shouldn't draw them down more than about 50%. So that means that if you really just draw them down to 50%, you're going to get about a 12 to 15 mile range. So if you were out in the country and you really had to get back, you could do a pretty close to a 25-mile round trip. But I'd say for the average, when they get down to around 70% charge or so, I start thinking about turning around, heading back for home. You can see it's got a regular master cylinder, auto master cylinder. I bought a little FAM horn. It comes with a little me beep type horn. This thing has got this is a low tone car horn, and it sounds just like a car. It's got a good tone, so I think I paid $12 for that horn, and I think that's a worthwhile upgrade. Now the other side over here, this is your heater box, and then there's your GE motor. It's a 5 horse, and then it's got a Dana. It's a transaxle, like it's I think it's somewhere around 10 to 1 ratio, and the thing has a lot of torque. I mean, even with these 12-inch tires on it, it'll slip the tires. I mean, it'll go up any kind of paved hill that is normally made. I took it over to the cemetery, and they've got a real steep hill. It's probably close to 20 or 30% grade, and this thing would crawl right up it. And I was surprised, because out on the road, if you hit a hill and you're running say 25 mile an hour, it'll slow down to close to 20, but it'll maintain 20 up a pretty good hill. The other thing on these 12-inch tires, over the 10 top speed, 12-inch tire is about 3 inches more in diameter than what a 10-inch tire is, and so it increases top speed from about 25 to 26 to about 29 mile an hour. So I did gain about 4 mile an hour. Let's see, the other thing, it's got, of course, turning signals, and nice rear view mirror at the top. Nice. It's got a nice roof. Probably want to get a back window here sometime for riding it in the rain. And like I said, there's 2 batteries in the front, and then there's 4 batteries under the seat. And I'll take the seat off here. Okay, I removed the seat. And you can see the 4 batteries here. Here's the emergency shut-off switch right here. You want to turn that off anytime you're working on the batteries. You have 72 volts available, and I think these batteries are rated at about 800 cranking amps, so if you really got a good contact on the batteries, the voltage and current could be lethal. So you can see all the batteries in here. The trick to these batteries for long life, they say, is to keep them watered. And you always want to fill the batteries after a charge. You don't want to let the water run down below the plates. You want to water them, and you don't want to water them overly too. You want to just bring the water level up to the bottom of the dip tube in the battery. And you never want to add acid to them. Basically, the only maintenance to this unit is to keep the batteries watered correctly, and occasionally under that transaxle there's a drain plug and a fill plug on it, and you probably want to change the oil on that thing every couple of years. But it uses hypoid, let's see, I think it's 80-90 weight oil in it, standard differential oil for a car. So it's got a good stout heavy steel and aluminum frame underneath it, and there's another picture from the other side. Things built real well. I think Jim Motors started in like 1998. A couple laid off General Motors engineers started it. It's up in North Dakota, and I think in early 2002 or so, Chrysler bought them out, and then Chrysler sold it to Polaris Motors last year. So you can still get parts at Chrysler. I don't know how long that's going to last, but you'll probably end up finally ordering them through Polaris if as things go on. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the charger. It's got a Xeon charger, and it's basically about a 900 watt charger, and it's a sophisticated charger. It charges, it's got several modes. When you first turn it on, the red light comes on at the top here, and that is charging at about 8.6 amps. The batteries are 72 volts, and so the charger starts out at about 8.6 amps. Then as it gets to 80% charge, it will flash red. Starts out red and then flashes red at 80%, and then when it gets up to well, at 80% it's charging at 5 amps. Then as it gets up to 90%, the light turns yellow and it's charged in about 4 amps, and then finally when the batteries are up at full charge 100%, why the green light is on, and it's the charger turns off. Now, I don't know, I'm not sure about this charger. There's one charger, and I think it may be this one and the newer ones. This is a 2002. The charger, if you leave it plugged in, about every 28 days it'll cycle on and do a charge to keep your batteries from corroding up. Let's see, the plates will sort of get a sulfate coating on them if they're not charged for a long time. So normally if I drive this thing about 9 miles, it'll charge up in roughly 2.5 hours. And so as you can see, I got it plugged into the wall here. And then now on this particular model, the 2002 models, the charger is under the cord where you plug it, the charger in is underneath the rider's seat. So that's pretty much all about the charger. It is a sophisticated charger. It's a switching power supply, which means you don't have any big heavy transformers, and also It is transistorized control, so it's a smart charger. It starts charging heavy, and then as the battery gets more charged, then it'll cut back on your charging. So that's it about the charger. I've pulled the unit back into the garage because sometimes it's a little hard to see the dash out in the bright sunlight. But anyway, when you first turn the key on, you'll get a -4 error code, which means that the parking brake is set. So the first thing you do when you see that -4, turn the key on while you release the parking brake, and then it shows the percentage of charge, and then it switches to miles per hour, how fast you're going. And let's see, I'll just step on the gas. Step on the gas, it will show you, I got it in reverse, it'll show you the amount of mileage that the unit has on it. See, it's got 1,958 miles when you switch it off. Evidently, when you switch it off, it shows that the mileage that you have on the unit for just a few seconds. And then I'll turn the switch back on. I got it in reverse right there. So if I turn it out, see, it's got a real smart electronics on it. Your options here is you got the turf mode and the road mode. And the turf mode, that motor's got a lot of torque. It'll spin the tires. So if you have it in the turf mode, it cuts the power back, so the top speed's about 16 miles an hour. If you have it in the road mode, then top speeds, well, is about 25 miles an hour stock. And then the other switch to the right has got forward and reverse. And then you have your windshield wipers. Should run it on a dry windshield, I guess, but that works good. And then it's got headlights on it, and it's got a good set of headlights on it. This one thing I liked about this is the headlights, tail lights are up high. They're eye level going down the road. So unlike a regular golf cart where you're looking down about a foot or two off the road, these tail lights are up at eye level, and it makes you a lot more visibility. And then it also has turning signals. There's your turning. There's the left turning signal, the right turning signal, and it even will tell you if your seat belts are unbuckled if you're running down the road. The other thing it has, it's got these vents at the front. These are your defroster vents. Got one on each side and then one down at the bottom here. You can just see it, and it's got a 72 volt heater and defroster in it. So it's got a lot of things. I've got the side panels for the unit and the side doors, and the heater would help out. It's not a very powerful heater, but it does run at 72 volts. The other thing that's pretty neat about this car is for the 12 volt accessories on it, rather than just, I thought it might just tap off one of the 6 12 volt batteries it's got on it, but it doesn't. It actually has a DC to DC converter. It converts 72 volts off the batteries down to 12 volts. That way you're pulling an even load off of all 6 batteries. It's important that these batteries stay balanced. In other words, if you've got 6 batteries in series, you wouldn't want to discharge one of the 12 volt batteries in the center, in the center of the chain. That would reduce your overall range of the car. So it pulls evenly off all 6 batteries by running the 72 volt DC to DC converter and then dropping it down to 12 volts. So that's pretty much that part. Now I'm gonna back up here. You can hear the contactor go. Anytime the system sets idle very long, it will, the contactor will open up and disconnect the batteries to save the draw on them. Okay, I just put it in reverse and we're going to back out. You can hear the motor controller hissle just a little bit, and that's, you can hear it's sort of chopping the DC up to control the speed of the motor. Now the way the speed control works on this is it's got a 5-horse DC motor, and then and it's made by GE, and then it has a 72 volt motor controller, and it's made by GE, and it's actually like a pulse duty cycle modulated wave. In other words, the thing is operating at some frequency, probably I don't know, a couple kilohertz, and as you mash down on the accelerator, there's a potentiometer that goes to the control module, and the motor controller will start putting out real sharp pulses of 72 volt electricity. Then as you step down farther on the gas pedal, it widens out the duty cycle. In other words, on a full cycle it'll go from, say, full on to a certain percentage and then full off for the rest of the cycle. And as you step down on the gas, it widens that out until when you have the gas pedal all the way down to the floor or fully open, then you're getting almost 72 volts pure DC out, and that's the way it controls it. Much better than a rheostat like they had in the old golf carts, where you were stepping between different resistors to get your speed control for the motor, because those resistors were dissipating a lot of the energy of the battery. Here with these SCR controllers, these transistorized controllers, it's basically it's switching the battery from full on to full off and pulsing it, and that way you don't get any power drop through resistors or anything. Most all of the energy is from the battery is getting to the motor, and it's not wasted. Okay, we'll take a little ride in it. We'll go down the road here. The motor's pretty darn efficient with the battery. I have been getting about 5 miles to a kilowatt hour. So we're paying here in Ohio, AEP is charging us, I think, about 13.5 cents a kilowatt hour. And so if you're getting 5 miles to that, you're really running about 2.8 cents a mile for electricity to run this car, which is really good. I'm stepping it up. We're going about 20 by the speedometer, which means we're actually going 15% more than that because of the wheels. But you can see it's got a lot of pep. It'll just about lay rubber from a stop if you stomp on it. But what you want to do to make the batteries last is run it and so you don't accelerate it real fast, and you just don't floorboard it all the time. Makes the batteries last longer, not only in charge but the lifespan. You can see that from the speedometer I'm doing about 18 by the speedometer, 19, so I'm actually probably doing about 21 or 22 mile an hour. These trailer tires on here really make a difference. I could have bought some trailer tires, same 12-inch tires, but they were 5.3 inches rather than 4.8. But I think what you want on these cars is to get the highest or the lowest rolling resistance you can get, and for that you need a narrower, harder tire. These tires are the turf tires are rated at 660 pounds. These trailer tires are rated at 990 pounds at 60 psi. I found that on these I just need to blow them up to about 60 psi and they're hard enough. if you notice those tires when you're looking at the side of the vehicle, they're not hardly flat at all. Just the very edge corner of the tire is touching the road. At the center, most of the weight's on the center of the tire, and this cuts down the rolling resistance. So see, I'm doing 23 miles an hour, and it says it's got a 95% charge. It'll come up there in a minute, say 95%. So it runs along real good. The practical range on these is, if they're a niche car, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 mile normal driving radius is about what you want to do. Like I say, you could go 20 or 25 mile trip, round trip, but for a practical sense, I think you're really talking about 6-7 miles out, 6 or 7 miles back is a good safe deal. You don't want to have to push the thing home. So here we're going down the road here, and we're doing, I've still got 95% charge, and we're doing about 21 by the speedometer, which would mean we're going about 23 or 24. It's quiet. The transmission, transaxle's fairly quiet. The engine doesn't make very much noise. I'm sure this camera probably picks up certain harmonics, but for me it's pretty quiet. Now see, we're hitting a pretty good grade here. I'd say this hill is probably a 7 or 8% hill, and it's dropped down to about 19 mile an hour, which still with these tires and stuff, you're running in the low 20 mile an hour. See, it's starting to pick up speed a little bit now that we hit a little flat spot on the hill here. So I think this is going to be a great little car. I live in a small town, and it's about 3 miles across town, and I've been all over the town in this, and it seems to run just really nice. The other thing is, I think I'll get better mileage in the summer. The batteries, lead acid cells, are very sensitive to temperature. I think their ideal temperature is about 76. It's only about 30, 35, 40 degrees out today, and on the chart, I was looking at the chart, and lead acid cells lose about 30% of their charge when it gets down around 40 degrees. So this summer, once it gets up, around in the 70s and 80s, why, I'll probably have even a lot longer range than what I got now. It's got automotive brakes. It stops real smooth. I got my turn signals on here. We'll wait for people to get by over here. See, like that, I just about spin the tires taking off. It's really got a lot of torque. And we'll see, we're already up to 20 mile an hour. It'll do 0 to 20 in about 4 seconds. So it sort of peters out after it gets up to 20 mile an hour. That next 5 mile an hour, it comes, a little bit slower. But I mean, from 0 to 20 mile an hour, man, it gets it. All right, we're just about home again. So I really thought about getting just a golf cart and putting lights and everything on it and making it street legal. But these gym cars, they come with everything on it. They come with a title. I think it's telling me I need to put my brake on. It's telling me to put my brake on. Yeah, the thing I like about this is the car comes with a automobile title on it, so you don't have a hassle of getting the thing licensed. In Ohio, if you have a regular golf cart, you have to have them inspected, and the sheriff has to write you out a inspection deal so that you can get your title. Whereas if you buy one of these gym cars, it's already you already got the title, so it's much less hassle. I got it insured through Progressive Insurance, and that thing only added $26 to my motorcycle policy, so the insurance is just really dirt cheap on them. The biggest expense will be the batteries, and like I say, I bought the guy I bought this from put these Walmart EverStart batteries in them. They run about $80 a piece, so you're talking less than $500. Whereas if you buy a Deca or a Trojan battery, you're talking about 3 times that. Trojan batteries run anywhere from probably $200 to $240. They will last longer, but as far as the amount of power that you get out of the battery, the only thing you're giving up is probably the longevity. Is about twice as long, and you can deep cycle them batteries a lot more. Where these Walmart EverStarts, you can have to, I say as an average, not deep cycle them more than 50%, where the Deca and Trojan batteries, you can deep cycle them down to 20%. So that's pretty much the overview of the car. I hope I've answered most of the questions you'd be interested in. I think with gas going up to $5 a gallon, a lot of people are going to be interested in cars like these. They are a niche car. You know, you're talking about a 6 or 7 mile working radius on these if you've got the cheaper batteries in them. But for a lot of people, that's probably what you know, that will work out good. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review, and I didn't ramble on too much. I'm just sort of taking this off the top of my head, so I'm not as organized as I should be. So if you have any comments, just write on the YouTube